A shocking allegation in the El Chapo trial. The self-proclaimed right-hand man of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman is claiming government corruption went as high as the president of Mexico. His name is Alex Cifuentes, and he was cross-examined on his third day of testimony. And at one point, he claimed former Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto asked El Chapo for a $250 million bribe.
Yeah,
the president of the country.
Yes. So he claims El Chapo actually negotiated that down a little to $100 million. Well, he's a businessman, and I'm sure a good negotiator.
Doing business.
So apparently that money was hand-delivered. Allegedly, that money was hand-delivered when Peña Nieto was about to take office. So he was the president-elect. Cifuentes also told the court that El Chapo paid the Mexican military up to $12 million to kill members of rival cartels. The former Mexican president has repeatedly rejected claims of corruption since the trial began. Previous testimony accused several members on his team of being involved with the Sinaloa cartel. Enrique Peña Nieto says that he has done nothing but actually bring crime down in Mexico. So joining us now to talk more about this, I'm sorry, Vlad, I talked right over you, is Paul Batista.
Good
Sorry.
morning.
Hey.
So, yeah, this is, wow.
It is a bombshell.
I mean,
I don't know what to make of it.
Is there any way for the prosecution or any lawyer to prove what Cifuentes is saying here? Because it does sound like he's a criminal. So how much are we to take him at his word?
Well, we know Cifuentes is a criminal. We also know, I think.
Is he right? Is he a liar?
We also know, I think, and I'm no advocate of the former president of Mexico. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to deliver $100 million in cash to anyone? You need a dumpster.
Right.
And
people always think it's like suitcases that they slide over, of money,
Right.
and it's not like that at all. I mean, it probably could be for a small amount of money, but it's not like Hyman Roth in Cuba. This is like, $100 million is a Brinks truck.
Well, we do know it's less than the $250 million he allegedly
negotiated him down, right? According to
minivan size. So is this just a distraction, or does it actually help either the prosecution or the defense?
Oh, I don't think it helps the prosecution at all. The more absurdity that goes into either side's case in a trial, the less the jury is inclined to believe the side that is advancing the absurdity. And where does it get the prosecution to even bring this in, other than to humiliate the former president of Mexico, who at the time actually had a pretty sterling reputation?
Yeah.
It's I think, improbable. I think a fascinating question will be whether Nieto, the former president, comes to the United States, as he is perfectly capable of doing, and denies it during the defense case.
So we also heard from Cifuentes about corruption from the Mexican military. That has been reported on several times. It doesn't mean that everybody in the Mexican military or the police is corrupt, but there have been reports of that corruption being part of the system there. Is the prosecution in danger of overwhelming the jury with sort of these issues that I think they may already be aware of, having heard the testimony for the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think, Vlad, the prosecution is at risk of putting an entire nation, which is an ally, a commercial partner, on trial for having everybody involved in the administration of the government.
Right, because there are corrupt cops everywhere, everywhere around the world.
Everywhere, right. Down the street.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but...
I can't name them. But the jury is overwhelmed, I think, by the concept that everyone from the highest level of the Mexican government to the lowest gunman on the street is involved in drug smuggling into the United States. That, at least to me, is a concept that goes beyond the realm of the believable. Does it help the prosecution's case? I don't think it helps any case to put forward allegations that are so enormous and so likely to be implausible.
There's some rumors that El Chapo will take the stand. What's the likelihood of that happening? Would that even help his defense?
With any normal defendant, my answer would be not a chance in the world. But here we have a defendant in El Chapo who I do believe wanted to produce and write a movie about himself, wanted to write a book about himself, is obviously intoxicated by himself. So far, no one has spoken in his defense. So there is the slightest chance in the world that Shorty, or whatever you want to call him, no Chapo, will take the stand. He will get torn to pieces. But that doesn't, it's his decision. People don't understand that. It's the client's decision to testify, not the lawyer. I'm sure the lawyers are saying, they're rubber hosing him with what the cross-examination is likely to be. But El Chapo has demonstrated himself on these tapes that we saw to be arrogant, maybe the right word, a performer, and maybe he thinks he's the guy who can save himself. So I do think there is a slight chance.
Wow. Well, the trial continues. Paul Batista, thank you.
Thank you so much.